all, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me this week. I hope, as always, this week's episode finds you happy, well, safe, and of course enjoying the hobby still. Thanks for joining me again this week. Really appreciate it. So we kick off straight away here, painting the front wheel well walls, for want of a better phrase. Couldn't think of the word there. We'll call them gear bays from now on because it's a little bit less of a tongue twister. So as always, building up the paint, keeping the detail, the cracking detail that comes as standard with this kit. You'll notice there that there are 4 sets of walls there for the wheel bays. That's because there are 2 different variants that are covered with this kit, and you'll notice the same again with the 2 separate tops or bottoms of the wheel wells here. One's got a lot more hydraulic lines visible, and the other one, which I'm currently spraying here, hasn't. That's because the one I'm spraying is the correct one for the year of manufacture of the aircraft that I'm currently building. It was a later variant, so they obviously streamline bits and pieces, as can be seen. Just gently, as always, building up the layers using Mr. Hobby paints that are thinned with Mr. Leveling Thinner as well. Really great combination that. Really creates a nice smooth paint finish. So next up, it's both the main gear bays. Again, excellent detail can be seen here with these, and I'm just getting a fine layer down to start with, something with a bit of a key for the rest of the paint to stick to. Again, not caking it on because we don't do that, do we guys? We keep it nice and thin and keep the detail. Just speed it up a little bit here so as to move things along. There we have the bits and pieces for constructing one of the main gear bays. It's just a case of coming along again with, as always, with the Tamiya extra thin cement, letting the capillary action work. Taking its time to bite and just coming together nicely. Again, really awesome the level of detail that Great Wall Hobby have put into even the tiniest bits here. Really happy with those. Looks great. Fitting some of the hydraulic lines now. They all have little holes to fit into or slot into. Very well thought out by the Great Wall Hobby designers. It just goes together very nicely, and it all makes sense. It builds up piece by piece and creates the bigger picture eventually. Very nice. So here we see that hydraulic line now in situ. And I pre-painted the parts just because it's easier to do so. Some people like to construct and then paint. I personally don't. I like to paint and then construct. As long as you're careful with the glue, it doesn't wipe away any of your paint. And it just makes life easier for getting the details correct. So again, just adding various lines, brake lines, hydraulic lines. The fact that this comes standard with this kit is terrific. I can't say, well, I can't praise this kit highly enough for the level of attention to detail that they have put into this. There we go. As I've stated before, building up the detail. Some of the parts are a bit spring and fiddly, but you can clearly see where they need to go. Nicely marked out the points where you can glue. There we have it, one wheel bay nearly completed. I think we just got the white pipes now. That's the ones, there we are, just to attach now, and they again slot in fantastically into the holes and parts created especially for attaching this to them. Again, I fast forwarded this bit because it was a little bit fiddly, and I took my merry time getting it in situ. There we go, fine touches of glue, welds together, and we have one completed wheel bay. Very nice. So back to the front gear bays. Going to add a little bit of detail to this. So I got some silver enamel paint again, loaded my very fine brush, and just lightly, delicately touched along the lines where the aluminium colour was needed for the metallic pipes. Again, this isn't an exact science, but it's really, really small. But I just thought I'd bring this bay to life with a little bit of detail painted in. I added some other colours to the tanks. I had a look at my info page that I printed out, just to make sure that it was moderately accurate without going too far and silly with it. It's always good to have reference pages and things to hand so you can check these things out, obviously depending on how far you want to go with it. So we go, they're all painted up, and now I just attach the sides into the main gear bay. While I'm doing that, I'd just like to say thank you ever so much to all my subscribers and all those people that hit the like and have commented. And I've had some really nice comments. I really appreciate the encouragement that you've all given me for something that I was just sort of trying out to see how it would go. You guys have really helped me along, and I can't thank you enough. Whilst I'm on the subject, if you like what you see here, please comment. If you don't like, again, please comment. And if I could ask you to like and subscribe, because that keeps the YouTube algorithms happy and helps keep my content up in the search bar, for want of a bit of a self-plug. Anyhow, moving back to the subject in hand, just getting the wheel bay, the main gear bay sides put in. Nice and easy with the tweezers and the cement. Very simple, clicks together. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. There we go. Very happy with that. Really is quite staggering the level of detail that they have put into these small parts. Very happy. I hope Great Wall Hobby continue with this level, because they will go very far if they do. So next up, and this is a little bit of a small tutorial part of this week's episode, it's weather washing, or creating a wash for weathering using oil paints. So it's real simple. Get yourself a nice set of oil paints. I'm using the black here, and I thin it with white spirits. There's no real exact science to it, but you want it sort of fluid enough so that the liquid runs into the panel lines and detail areas that you want to highlight. So go using a pipette just to pop some white spirit in there, and then we'll give it a mix up. There are various panel washes out there that are specifically made for this purpose. Tamiya do an excellent set. I know Phil over at Flory Models, he also has a set going, and they're both very highly regarded. I've just found the old school way of getting a bit of oil paint and thinning it out works well for me. Get a nice range of colours as well if you use oil paints. You can get browns, blacks, greys, etc., depending on what it is that you are weathering. So yeah, I'll draw you in closer so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So get a thin brush. The liquid consistency is very, very thin there, so that our good old friend the capillary action rears its head again and fills in all the lines and brings out the details of the plastic quite nicely. Again, you can overdo this or you can underdo this, however it grabs you. This is your model, so you do it how you want to do it. I have my own style of how I like things. I like to try and keep things moderately accurate. And the SU-27 that I'm building, they are kept in pretty good nick with the Ukraine Air Force. What the display team one was anyway, or is. So I'm not going to make this a real dirtbag of an aircraft. It's going to have signs of use, and because it is. And I'm also going to use these washes just to bring out some of the details. But I'm not going to make this look terrible. Like terrible is the wrong word, because if it was really weathered it wouldn't look terrible, it'd be accurate, but I'm not going to overdo it. But again, it's all very much to taste. You may agree, you may disagree. So here you can see the capillary action filling the lines, and it does look horrendous right now, I'm not going to lie. But the next stage, which will come along shortly, we'll see how you can bring that back and make it look a bit more realistic. So it is just really a case of going through all the parts in this stage and adding the wash to the various bits that I thought was necessary. Again, there's no real right and wrong answer to where the weathering goes with this, within reason of course. That's one of the main gear bays done, and now we go to the front gear bay. And I just wanted, these aren't so dirty as I've said previously. The aircraft are quite well looked after. They're not in a tatty state. So, but I did want to just bring out, highlight some of the excellent details that are in here, whilst trying to stay accurate as well. So as you can see, I'm not highlighting everything, or weathering everything, should I say. And there we have it, all weathered up, and now it's time to remove to taste. Now, I haven't used a clean cotton bud or Q-tip for whatever reason, but it's probably advisable to do so. But anyhow, I use Q-tips. You can also use kitchen towels, toilet roll, even the brush that you've used to apply the wash with the bit of white spirit. That can also be used to just take away the oils that you've put on. Now the oils, they take actually 2 or 3 days to dry, so if you're not happy even after a few hours with what you've done, you want to go back and adjust it, you can. That's what's the joy of this. It takes a good while for these to for want of a phrase, go off or to dry out. So there's plenty of time to get it looking how you want it. So here I am just using the cotton bud or Q-tip. I finally grabbed a clean one at long last. And gently as possible get into all the nooks and crannies and crevices, removing the excess wash away from where you don't want it really. There are parts on this video where I do bend things about a bit, like there you go, you see it there. That's all controlled. I know it's not going to break it, so just be aware of that. Obviously as gentle as possible, but you don't need to be too gentle. So here we go, getting out all the excess from the deeper sections of the plastic. I find also that this sort of wash can also, if your colouring or your paint colour is slightly too vibrant, so say for instance that yellow on the pipe, you can use the wash to actually just dull or take the edge off that colour as well. It can be really useful for that. There we go. Let me know what you think to that. That's the end result. I think that looks pretty good. It's not overly done and fairly accurate. Right, next up, moving on swiftly, there is one small decal that goes in the nose gear bay door, or in the nose gear bay. So I quickly apply that. It's been in warm water. I won't bore you with the details. You all know what you're doing with this. This is just here to show the process, so that if you build this kit yourself, you know kind of what to face or what you're getting into. As always with decals, this one's a pain in the ass to get off, and when you do get it off, it does play me about. Probably a little bit due to the fact that I was being a bit too fiddly with it, to be honest. And again, being on camera, I'm set to one side, so I'm trying to make it visible for you whilst being able to see myself what I'm doing. So I do make a bit of a meal of this, so I do speed up the videotape for this section, as can be seen, because otherwise you'll be here all day. As you can see, it gives me a little bit of jip, but I win in the end. And just the bottle you saw just a minute ago, see, there you go, creasing up. Honestly, it's the tiniest decal as well. I really made a meal of this. This is not normal, guys. This is me just having one. So here I am using, I think it's the micro, I can't quite see, micro sole or the set, I can't remember, the red one anyway. It's the last bit of the process, and this gives it the painted on look. I really like these two bottles, the micro set and micro sole. There are other decal fixers that you can use that are equally good, if not better. I just haven't used those, but here it is, the decal in situ, again adding that level of detail. So as the episode draws to an end, I'd like to thank you very much for tuning in. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons. I may release another video on later on in the week, because I've got another one brewing in the lines already. I hope you've enjoyed this one. This is the final sort of review look at what I've done. I hope you like it. I'm very happy with it. Let me know your thoughts and comments. And I would like, as always, to thank you ever so much for getting this far in the episodes. Hope you all have a great week. Happy modelling. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And bye-bye. Toodaloo.